Welcome back. Woo! Welcome back, Carlotta. Yes, very good, excellent. Poor Carlotta, she got very nervous. She got very nervous there. Right, now because I was not satisfied at your performance before the break in regards to the last activity, there's one thing I would like you to do first, okay? Now, I don't care if you do this in your own language, okay? So I'm going to ask you to ask artificial intelligence in Portuguese, Italian, Chinese, in Korean, whatever, Spanish. I want you to do this. Okay, so just give this instruction. Can you give me short outlines? Now you can, or summaries or whatever, of popular language learning, language teaching methodologies. Okay? I want you to ask whatever AI you're using for that. Give me maybe 7. Okay? So ask artificial intelligence that now. You can get the explanation in your own language. In fact, I would prefer it. Okay? I prefer you to get the explanation of that in your own language, whatever language you speak. When you have got it, you will look at the explanations, you will read the explanations, and you will explain how those teaching methodologies work, okay, in your own, with your partner. Yeah.
How am I already underwater? I thought Grammarly just.
Now, Manuel, unless you're reading it from some kind of holographic projection on the carpet, I would like you to read the explanations. Translation in Chinese. I don't know maybe some of you will have to ask for more detail. Okay? Maybe the explanation is too short. You can ask for more detail. Lucky that was it. Right, continue reading.
Yeah.
You can read it in your pen. Okay, you're going to be explaining these things to your partners soon. So what Daphne asked, Carlotta, what Daphne asked is correct. So have a look at what she got.
Yes, I asked the same.
The order is
That's fine, that's fine. Okay, now discuss. No. Yes, but then some of those would prohibit any Korean, any Portuguese, without just the last one. Use Korean or Portuguese, for example, that would be not. Okay, so explain the different what are your moments? Students like
reading, writing. There's some
Sorry there, Charles. Manuel is just calling one of his numerous women.
Si usa typical phrases as collocation, ya siempre vamos ya typical
Which one?
Would you, so you said which one is the best for you? Maybe you could say which parts of those could you take out? Maybe there's bits of a few, not just only choose one. Maybe.
Direct method.
it's not there there are not many because of
But I have a
I think I remember. The other
You go like this. How? Here's that noise. Oh, I expect you. So, after repetition, then you have repetition with what learn. Oh, this is what fruit is going to be. Yeah. So, you could repeat, and behavior with repetition. But that's a philosophy, it's not the methodology. Okay? So you have some philosophies about language learning, and then after that you have methodologies how to introduce those philosophies.
I think it's
Okay, stop. Okay, stop. Okay, so what methodologies did you hear or discover? So Daphne, give me one. What one did you hear about or read?
Grammar.
Well, it's not called grammar. It's called
Translation method.
yeah, the grammar translation method. What is that?
That was common in all the school.
I don't know if it is anymore. It was back in the day. What is it? Anyone know? Now,
You have to learn the grammar rules.
no, I'm going to put it on in a second.
The
Okay?
grammar rules, the vocabulary. You have to
No,
study.
look at the name. Grammar translation. What do you think you did? You translate text. That's basically what you did. You translated texts.
To learn grammar rules.
Basically to learn grammar rules and vocabulary. You would learn the vocabulary by translating lots of texts. Now, do you think that's a successful technique or not? I have done this already in this course. And it worked to some extent with some of you. Okay? If you want, I can show you information about how to use the grammar translation method in your learning if you want to do it that way. What techniques did you learn about, or methodology? Name one.
Another one.
Yeah.
For example, communicative language teaching.
Okay, communicative language learning or communicative language teaching. What is that?
You have a real communication that you can have in your real life. So I think it's more easy to remember.
Is it?
For me.
Yeah, instead of
Okay, so what would a class that was based on a communicative language teaching approach involve? What would you be doing?
well, learning by talking, listening.
Do you know what I do at the start of the class? What do I do at the start of most of the classes? Have a chat between you, all of you, etc. And then the language will emerge from that. Now, should I do that for the entirety of the class? Should I do for 100% of the time?
No,
Just have a chat.
you have to change
Why?
because all the time chatting, we could do that on a path or something.
Yeah, but you don't. You don't have someone monitoring you. You don't have a teacher listening to your conversation and then going, okay, now you made a mistake here and you made a mistake there and you made a mistake here, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to try give you language that could fix that. You don't have that. All you have is have a chat with no monitor in the background. Now you could, if you got ChatGPT to listen to your conversation, but you probably don't want to do that. Or you could record your conversations in the pub, but you don't want to do that. So one way you can have a teacher to listen to your conversation. I can record it, for example, and you can go back and watch it, for example, and that could be an approach. Are there any limitations? No limitations to that approach.
Well, maybe your grammar is not accurate.
Yes, okay. So there's some problems with some people will suggest there's a problem of accuracy. So you might become very fluent, but then you will make mistakes with grammatical constructions. So you will never get to the level that I am at, for example, in English. Okay? Because you will continuously make grammatical errors because you don't notice. This group, another tech or methodology. Again? Task-based learning. Now, I was very, what's a task, by the way? What's a task?
Thing that you need to do, like
An
a
activity.
writing.
But the task is a bit more specific than that in language learning. What does the task have to involve? Like, I can say, have a chat. That's sort of like a task, but it's not really. Yes?
Real world test.
Okay, so it usually has to be authentic. So like what native speakers would do. What else? There's something else that the tasks have to have. If you look back at that.
Solving problems.
Yes, okay, has to solve a problem. There has to be a resolution at the end. So it generally has to be authentic and you have to solve a problem. How? How do you solve the problem? How do you usually solve the problem in task-based learning?
Mixing each other.
Mix. You talk together. The way you solve the problem is by discussing with other people how to fix this situation, etc. And eventually you'll arrive at an answer. Maybe the answer is correct, maybe the answer is incorrect, but that's not the important thing in task-based learning. The important thing is your language when you are doing the task. And again, like communicative language learning or teaching, the teacher's job is generally to help you with the language that you don't have or that you make mistakes with when you're doing the task. Okay, so I am not an instructor, I'm a facilitator. I help you, whatever, and I monitor the language as well. This group, what forms did you, or methodology did you get? Name one.
Yeah, we have chosen the saying of Alice, but also we have the direct method.
Okay, what's the
It's
direct
similar.
method? What's the direct method?
Only the target language is used.
Yes, okay. Imagine in this school, and some teachers do believe in this, okay, including in this school, only use English. Don't use any of your languages. And one teacher in particular really is strict about this and does not want you to use any of your languages in the corridor. And there are some schools in the United States. There's one school which is very famous. You have to pay a lot of money to go to that school, and they ban you from speaking in your language, except for a very short period of time during the day when they allow you to do whatever. Maybe you have a problem with your family at home or whatever in your own language. But if you speak one word, they'll give you a warning. And if you speak maybe 2 words, so you do it again, you're out. They kick you out of the school. And the school is extraordinarily expensive. Extraordinarily expensive. So for example, if a student spoke one word of Chinese or Cantonese or whatever, and then another word, then they would lose maybe 15,000 euros. Would you speak in the other language then? Would you? I can show you that they make a lot of progress in a very short period of time because they're forced to. They live in the school, for example, they cook together, they speak in their languages, etc. Would you like that? Only speaking in English. Only. Would you like that?
Yeah, if you have
So, do you think the students would agree to that? Do you think if I said to you now, Manuel, I heard you speaking Spanish on the break, that's the first warning. Okay? You have one more, and you will lose. One more, and you will lose all your money. You'll be kicked out of the school. Would you like that? Okay, how many of you would like that? I guarantee there are teachers in the school who would like that. Okay? But I guarantee there would be a revolution from at least half of the students in the school. But would it be better? I don't know. Maybe it might be better for you.
better for me, for
Yeah.
learning the idiom.
Would you do it again? Would you do it again if you were kicked out of this school for speaking 2 words of your language, and then you would join another school that had the same thing? Would you speak in your language again?
No.
I doubt you would. Okay, so maybe it has some benefits. So no, I don't use that approach. For example, I said I have no problems with you using your language for grammar explanations or whatever. I don't really have a big issue about that. But maybe it would be better for you. I don't know. Maybe it's individualistic. It's personal. Okay, this group. What did you learn? Or a methodology you have?
The silent way.
Oh yes, this is one of the weirdest ones.
Yeah.
The silent way. Why is it called the silent way?
Because, for example, it's without speak, you don't say the word.
Hello, Luca. Sorry, just 1 second, Luca. What do we want in this class, Alice? Fake enthusiasm. Hello, Luca.
Hello, Luca.
Thank you. That's a bit better. Yes.
Hello, everybody. So I'm just here to introduce the activity of the week. Tomorrow we have a workshop for cover letter and CV. If you want to participate, just sign up the list at the reception. It's tomorrow at 12:30. Okay. In classroom number 6, I think. Just ask in the reception again because I'm not sure. And Friday we go to the Art and Decorative Museum. It's for free. And just bring your leave card, sign up the list, and the meeting point it's in reception at 2:15 p.m. Okay. Perfect.
Thank you, Luca.
Thank you, Luca.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good luck. Look, what a disgrace. Yes, right. Move your ass. Okay. So, who's silent?
The teacher.
The teacher is basically silent. Now, why would you pay for a course where the teacher is trying to remain as silent as possible? And why would someone invent a methodology where the teacher doesn't speak very much? Why? What would be the benefit of that?
Oh, I think create or think myself.
Yeah, okay, so basically, yes. Okay, the teacher tries to remain silent to give you opportunity to speak. Okay? When you come to the school, do you want me to speak all the time, or do you want to speak?
I want to speak, but I need you to speak.
Oh yes, yeah. But I could give you the instruction without speaking. So, for example, some of you have big problems with pronunciation, and if I say, okay, now I want you to pronounce "oh," say that.
Oh.
Don't speak. Okay? I spoke for a very short period of time at the start, but then after that I can use pointing or body movements or hand gestures, etc. And I can go like this.
A mimic class.
You might think it's a mimic class. So I don't use it. But for your information, I am actually I'm doing this for the teachers as well. I am going through these topics. So, for example, how we learn and teach languages, and some of these methodologies, for example, the natural approach, the direct method, the grammar translation method, and they're about 10 minutes long. I'm trying to make them short so that the teachers also will watch them. Okay? I want the teachers to watch them as well as you. Okay, you don't actually have to watch this, but I have not given you access to this yet. I have not given anyone access to this. So, for example, the method that we sort of use in this class is this one. Okay, now I obviously had a very bad night that night. Okay, I wasn't feeling the best, I think. And wait, just 1 second, I'll turn that off. Okay, so I will show you just a little bit of this.
Hello, and welcome to this video on another teaching methodology known as Dogme.
Yes, I can't do fake enthusiasm, so when I'm speaking to myself, it's always very boring, okay?
Methodology that might be a little bit biased in presenting names. You will makers believed that started by directors like Lars von Trier.
Okay, so this technique, Dogme, it has a strange name, and it's based on a film movement. Okay, so some Danish directors thought that films, modern films, were using too much special effects and things like that. Okay, so they removed all the special effects and they just used a handheld camera, for example, and a few little extras.
Those filmmakers believed that they believed in using natural settings, minimal equipment, no special effects or complicated lighting, for example. And they wanted to get away from the flashiness of Hollywood movies and focus on the story and acting. And a New Zealand educator a New Zealand educator quite famous in the ESL world, Scott Tonbury, thought, well, that sort of fits with the kind of ideas I have about teaching in the classroom. I want to get away from all the materials and make it less reliant on textbooks.
So basically, don't use textbooks. Okay? Use the materials that you have in the classroom. You, a piece of paper and a pen maybe, and that's about it. Don't use the textbook. To some extent, don't use computers if you don't have computers. Basically, this is what the technique that we're mostly using in the class now. Okay? But you can use other techniques as well. One of the other weird ones that the group over there was talking about, Charles for a second, Charles just walked straight past the light there, doesn't it? Total physical response. Stand up! Sit down! Point your finger like this. Point, point, Okay, lean back. This is called total physical response. Okay, so the teacher gives you lots of instructions. Eventually, maybe you will learn the instructions and you will give instructions to the others. Give instructions to the others.
Stand up. Jump. Give a kiss to Andrew.
Shoot! Yes, exactly. Okay? Now, does everyone understand? Does everyone understand how the total physical response method works? Do you think it would work for you? Do you think it would work for you? Do you think it would work for elementary students? Do you think it would work for children?
Maybe for children.
Yeah, to be honest, I think they would find it entertaining. And I will, in a few weeks, I will give you lessons on each of these methods. You will be doing a class using one of these methods. So for half a class, you will be using total physical response. Half a class, you will be doing grammar translation method. Half a class, you will be doing communicative language teaching or learning, etc., etc. I'll give you exposure to each of them. But this is just to show you that if you ask ChatGPT or whoever to be a teacher for you, you have many different choices that you can choose from. Okay? Now the next question I want you to ask it is this. Can you give me some up-to-date research or findings on language learning, specifically related to grammar learning and acquisition? So ask for some research. What's the most modern research about language learning and teaching? Teaching related to grammar learning. Okay? Now, maybe that will give you some information about which methodologies are actually better than others, or seem to be better than others. Again, I have no problem you using your own language to research. Read with your eyes. In about 3 minutes, you will be giving some information to the other groups. Quickly, Charles. Two minutes. One minute. Very quick. Okay, stand up. The four of you in a group, and the four of you in a group. What did you discover? Okay, the four of you, what did you discover? Quick, quick, quick. Up you get there now, Daphne. Up you get. Yes. Charles, you're in this group. Okay, what did you discover? Juhi, move your ass. Yes. Not like that. If you do not start in the next 3 seconds, 3, 2, 1.
Hey!
Okay.
Where's my ass?
It'll be more in your ass if you don't start in the next 3 seconds. You 3,
Close my
2,
face. I need to dry my
1.
Look.
Let me get the timing. that group. Discuss what findings, what research.
One is to the big the question appears, what is the past tense of
I only asked this
Oh, of course you will have different ones. Yes, yes. So describe.
Just for example, they give me a lot of grammar learning because they give a lot of touch. I think like it's not sometimes it's not used like there's one that it's about just exercise and with the things that you need to do in your whole day life, in your life.
Okay, so what research did you get?
Noticing hypothesis.
Okay, so what's that about?
It's about learn the grammatical things and knowing the point of it, like you are using it in a conversation, so you learn easier in an easier way.
But why is it called a noticing hypothesis? Why is it called a noticing?
Because you know this. You know this.
Do you notice?
Of this grammar.
Do the grammar. Do you notice? What tense am I using?
But I know this.
Also speaking.
What tense am I using?
It's not repeating.
Present simple, continuous? Continuous, yeah. You didn't notice that. So the noticing hypothesis is more about, like, you have to notice those things to fix. So what's the research on that? Is it correct? Does there seem to be evidence for that or not? Okay, this is what I want. I hear some people here giving me techniques, but that's not really what I want. I wanted to see, okay, which techniques work and why. So for example, is it okay to just have chats? Will you get better by just chatting? Will you get better by just reading for grammar? Does it get better by just exposing you to more language or not? What does the research say? Okay, so what's the research you're talking about now?
I asked them your favorite.
Oh, I don't care. I don't care what your favorite is. That's not what I asked. I asked you, give me the
Yes,
research.
but we
Yes, but what research do you have? What research findings? Maybe you again? Okay, what did they say?
of the classmates in the language.
So what did they say? Does
There's
task-based language,
not
but does it work? This is what I wanted you to get, the findings or the results. So you might like doing this, but maybe you find out, oh, it doesn't work. Oh, I really love doing games on Duolingo. Does it work? You don't know. This is what I wanted you to research. So if you have any research findings there, they say, oh yeah, that definitely works. Or there seems to be evidence for that.
So, yeah, it's a controversial study, for example, they compare to
indicated the neutral effect.
it's a practical
On grammar acquisition with students expressing the perception.
Okay.
So it seems like it doesn't work.
I don't know for
Neutral, it's
because
not
I
positive or
think
negative. So
Neutral
just
is negative. It's
no, neutral means it doesn't, it's not negative, it won't destroy your grammar, and it won't
Because-
increase your grammar.
Yeah,
No, it is,
because-
is that true?
They're what they say exactly, but are they
I don't
not
care what your opinions are. I know I'm saying it in a bad way, but I don't care about what your opinions are. I care what's the evidence. So you might, oh, I love doing this, but
Yeah.
that might not work.
you put me.
So you tell me what works.
Competence, competence, translingualism,
I asked
the importance of context,
they
factors.
say that focus on real things.
So, okay, so give me this research.
That I
So
think
what are you
about,
talking about?
using grammar in real world tasks and conversations. Learning to develop a deeper
I don't know.
No, well, you said translingualism and then you mentioned a few things. What
Yeah,
are you talking about?
translingualism, there's a growing
think
recognition
that
of the
it's where
value of learning
speak and do exercise of the whole day, and then it's the most efficient.
Network approaches second
So I read it again. There's a growing recognition of the value of learners' existing linguistic resources. So what that means is use what you already have, but use it better. And maybe the teacher's job is to try help you use that language that you already have. Instead of learning lots and lots of new vocabulary, maybe it would be beneficial for you to just get used to the vocabulary or language that you already know and use it more effectively. Okay, so that's what that's talking about. The importance of context. Okay, what's the research say about that? Blah, blah, blah.
Research comparing two groups of
Like this, you like to hide behind this bloody pillar.
So related exercises.
Yeah, did you find any research findings
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
What did you find?
Or new articles. Research would examine
Summary.
which group demonstrates a deeper understanding of how
Okay,
we
so
learn.
what you're doing here is going through all the methodologies here and saying what's the benefit of that. I don't have any problems with that, but
Yeah.
you need to find
Yeah, to
what's the
know
benefit
what,
of doing each of those.
You're
So
talking.
maybe, for example, when you're learning task-based learning, or when you're using task-based learning or teaching, maybe the context is the order. So is it important to learn in context, grammar in context, or what's the research say?
So yeah,
Do you
one
know?
word.
What's the research say about learning grammar in context? What's the research say?
To learn and get
Yeah.
Neutral effect.
Also,
So
when we were with the
context doesn't-
forecaster, when
That's not really
we
what
have to
There
learn
that
about
impact
Australia,
on grammar may be more limited without speaking
you were not.
grammar
Okay,
specific
okay, so
intervention.
there, that's a-
Yes, because I
No,
asked
no,
you
no.
last year.
It was here, but we
We
went to Australia.
Okay, stop. Okay. Okay, everyone, stop, go back to your seats for a second. Now, I still don't think you did it very well, okay? I still don't think you did it very well, but at least you're starting. To be honest, I think you should do this at the start of a course. Now, I haven't taught a single one of you at the start of this course. So you were all in the middle of the course when we were starting. But when if I start the course, I would generally like the students to have some idea why we are doing the class the way we are doing it. So before we started this course, which was 21 weeks ago, I asked the students in the 22 weeks ago, what do you think about the approach that we're going to use, the Dogme approach, where you get to choose the syllabus, blah, 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 and we went through that, and I explained why I would do it. You have no idea, it seems. You just say, oh, good, like we get to choose the topics. But you don't know why, or is it even beneficial? I want you to start thinking about that yourselves. Maybe this class is not the best technique for you, and maybe it would be better if you went to another class and did a different technique. I have no problems with that, as long as you can justify it. You say, oh, yeah, well, even one other thing. Do you like me as a person? Well,
maybe that's important. Maybe you don't like me. If you don't like me, maybe that'll affect your learning. Maybe if you don't like the classmates that you have, maybe that'll affect your learning. Like I know when I was in school, if I hated the teacher, I would find it horrible to come to class, and I wouldn't learn anything. If I learned something, I'd learn it just in case I got something wrong and failed the test, but then I would forget it a week later because it was just nerves that can. So there is some research about this, about language learning and being comfortable when you're learning the language. I can teach you in an effective way, but you would hate. Roberto, stop using your phone. Now, it could be horrible. I could embarrass the students. I could go, this is an absolute disgrace. An absolute disgrace. I'm so angry. The camera's falling. I guarantee he'd remember the experience. Would you? You would probably. Well, this guy, he probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I know one person in this class who would definitely remember if I was very, very angry and I was giving them vocabulary and I was very angry if they didn't know the answer. Who in this class?
Tachi.
No. Tachi will remember that day, but not for what you think she remembered. I had a big long conversation in there with Tachi about how she felt. But you know what she remembered? She remembered from a teacher 30 years ago saying that she could not do grammar. And she was very upset about she couldn't do grammar. And that stayed in her memory for 30 years. It was terrible. But I know there's one person in this class, if I used a really aggressive, almost violent technique of teaching, who do you think would remember? Maybe not in a positive way. But this woman over here, I'm pretty sure that Carlotta would be terrified. She is so nervous in general that if I used a very, very strict, aggressive, violent technique of teaching, she would hate it. Well, I don't think any of you would like it, but I'm pretty sure you would remember it. Because it's really emotional. It's emotional, and some people will react really badly to that. I would. If I remember once my teacher embarrassed me in front of the class, and that was more than 30 years ago. That was almost 36 years ago. And I still remember. And I also remember that teacher fell one day. The door opened and she fell and she knocked herself unconscious, and everyone laughed. It was an amazing moment. Yes. Right. But I guarantee that would be memorable for you. But do you want to do 24 weeks of that? Carlotta, how would you enjoy the experience if I gave you 24 weeks of torture? Yes. Yeah. But I guarantee you would learn something.
Yeah.
Okay? So you could use that technique, but I guarantee after a while you would probably hate the language and give up. So really what I'm trying to get through to you is that there is some research on how comfortable you are when you're learning a language, what times of the day you learn the language. I guarantee not all of you should be learning in the morning. Not all of you should be learning in the morning. Some of you probably learn better at night. Would you agree? Or in the afternoon? Or you all learn better in the morning, do you?
For me.
Okay, for you in the morning. Do you think everyone prefers to learn in the morning? No. Look, Ying Hong is nearly asleep every morning. If you look back at the video, it's always like this, etc. Okay, why do I ask you to stand up and do the activities very often? Yeah. Maybe you don't notice this, but there's a reason I do that. Why do I use this?
No, and you have.
Yes, but why do I use this? Okay, what's the alternative? What's the alternative? Okay, what's the alternative to doing this? Okay, what's the alternative? Tell me the alternative to doing this. Why do I use this? Because you don't pay attention when I ask you to pay attention. When I say stop, look back at the videos, how long it takes you to stop. 10 seconds minimum every time. So, 10 seconds. Look back at the videos and you watch how long it takes you to respond. Now, I could go, okay, stop. Oh, yes, okay, you're talking, but does that benefit everyone else? When you're a teacher, you have more than one person. You may say, oh, I'm having a lovely chat here. But all the other people might not be having a lovely chat, but that might not benefit them. I'm trying to create for you, with this activity, a personalized teacher where it doesn't matter if you keep talking. You can keep talking. It doesn't matter if you're asleep in the morning. You can have a teacher in the evening. It doesn't matter if you have a teacher in the morning who is very aggressive, because you can create a lovely teacher if you want. You can create the lovely teacher. Give me reassurance, ChatGPT. Every time I get the right answer, say, well done, Roberto. You're so great. You look so young, etc. You could do that. Or you could create a ChatGPT teacher who is a bastard. Every time you get a right answer, ChatGPT could say, who cares? Okay? I don't care. It's not so good. You think you're great, etc. You're not. You can create the teacher that you want. Okay, but try to create a teacher based on evidence. So context seems to be important. And in the past 30, 40 years, people would say, oh, it's okay to just have a chat. You will eventually learn the language. Having chats, more and more chats, you will be exposed to language. Read more, you will be exposed to language, etc. But there does seem to be evidence that if you do focus on certain grammatical features or certain language, that makes it faster. It's not that if you only do that, you will become fluent in the language, because you won't. But doing a little bit of extra, let's say, grammar focus, that helps you become fluent faster and more accurate as well. Okay? So you do, and there are different ways you can notice it. So Roberto was researching something about the noticing hypothesis. Not just, if I'm speaking now, what tense am I using? Present continuous. So maybe somebody has to tell you that. Well, ChatGPT can tell it to you. You can say, okay, well, you're using the present continuous here. And then you can ask, please tell me how you use the present continuous. Now, to be honest, I didn't show you everything about what I would do with Swedish. If I was learning the language, instead of just grammar, I would have a conversation. And then you saw, because I am trained with grammar as a teacher, I can say, okay, now what is that? Is that an object relative pronoun? Is that a subject? What tense is that? Do you use tenses in blah, blah, blah? The more you are interacting with ChatGPT or whatever AI you have when you're learning a language, the better you will be at learning other languages as well. Okay, not just English. When you want to learn Spanish or Portuguese or Chinese or whatever, etc., you'll be able to do that better. You'll start to notice things that are unusual. Like last week, I was trying to show you, you might notice things about words. So what does morbido mean again? In Italian, what does morbido mean? Soft. Can you remember why?
Because
Yeah, exactly. I didn't teach you. I didn't say learn that, but you learned it. Can you tell me what morbid means in English?
It's for death.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to be humor, but it's about death. So that's noticing to some extent as well. You're learning words and noticing what's the etymology. I guarantee if you get better at that, you will be able to guess a lot of words. Lots of people will come up to me and say, oh, Andrew, how do you speak so many languages? Especially the Romance languages. They say, oh, you speak Spanish or you speak Italian. No, I don't. I'm guessing. I'm just guessing I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I'm guessing reasonably intelligently. Because I'm saying, oh, there's something similar in French to this. Maybe it's this. Maybe not, but I can guess. And after a period of time, you will start to notice patterns. I want you to be able to do that. I want you to create your own best teachers. Because to be honest, the best teacher for you, in my opinion, is who? You. You should be your best teacher, not me. And at the end of the course, or the end of any school that you're in, if you still think that the teacher is your best teacher, that teacher has failed to some extent. Okay? They might be an excellent teacher, but they're not giving you enough for you to do stuff on your own. It's especially true at the higher levels. At lower levels, maybe it's a little bit more the teacher is important. But at higher levels, my job, in my opinion, is to make myself unemployed and make you the best teacher for you. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to do this activity again. Learn that. Learn that. Create a good teacher for you and learn that. So maybe the activities that you had before were too boring. Maybe you say, I would like to learn it by games. And it will create the games for you. Some of you just got, oh, here's an explanation and here's the text. Okay, do the text. Maybe you want to translate it. Maybe you want translations of these in your languages. I have no problem with that if that's what you think is best. Okay, so do it again. So the pair of you, the pair of you, the pair of you, and the three of you, learn them. Mixed conditionals. I will give you approximately 10 minutes. That's it, 10 minutes. Okay, mixed conditionals. Now work together, Lindis. Now Alice and Ying Hong, try to work together. Do you want to learn mixed conditionals with an exercise, or do you want the story and then just give the context? It's so
created out of
exactly.
Exercises.
Okay.
So for example, this is an exercise.
But when you were learning it the first time, did you put it in context?
Yes.
Yes, show me yours now. Okay, perfect.
Yes, but we want to add some information about us and
Yes, okay, so do that.
exercise about the week.
Do you want to do the exercise? Is
Or
that...
a story.
Okay, so maybe you could have a story.
And then, sorry, and then after the story, you do exercises about it.
I would encourage you to learn more about the reading instead of the form at the start. Just try to understand it in context. Okay? And then don't worry about doing this yet. Okay? Do this after. So put it in context first and then maybe. Okay?
Okay, perfect. Yes.
Right. Now, what are you doing?
We were asking the
Which techniques did you choose? Okay, so
Then I will say, give me examples of mixed conditionals.
just say I want a lesson where the main focus is mixed conditionals. No, actually, I want to have a conversation where mixed conditionals is the main topic. Actually, no, that's not.
I know but I
want the conversation
more information
where
and ask for a specific kind of teacher.
So I have my example now. And I think. Yeah. I will ask for pictures also. It's also some things I really know.
So what I mean is have an interaction. Don't just give me 50 minutes ratio with conditions. So that's too much. That's way please. Okay, even that's a lot as well. I would say maybe make it smaller again. Put interact and you will get used to this. So they're using the methods. They're not using any of Spanish at all. And they're trying to use lexical. Okay, so try to create more. Okay, what do you want? Okay, so you got the stone for this.
No, okay.
Oh, gate. Okay, now, do you understand the game?
Yes, well, I start to
Okay.
I try to use some songs.
How are you going to use this? Now, do you understand the story? All of it? Okay, if you don't understand all of it, do what you did yesterday with the translation and you can go through that and not worry and think, oh my god, I don't understand this word and this word. If the main focus is learning these conditionals, maybe you don't need to focus on 50 words that you don't know. So get the translation on the side of it. Okay? Get the song. Get the song. Play the song. Is it for you? Get the song. Listen to the song.
Oh, someone needs to hear that? Maybe.
Yes, okay. Do you think that would be beneficial for you or not?
Yes.
Would you like doing that or not?
Yes, because you use your imagination to recreate the
Okay, so but would you say that's better than what you produced before? Is it more interesting than the first one?
The first time.
Exactly, but you didn't think about that the first time. You just said, oh, let's do this. But is it going to stay in your memory? Okay, are you going to use it again? Are you responding or is going me, you? ChatGPT is creating you, me.
Yeah.
Okay, no. I want to have an interactive conversation with you. Okay? Okay. Now, if you can, do you understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit stupid though, because that never happens. Okay? Now it's funny, so maybe you would. No.
Try to
interact conversationally.
I think I'm done with it.
this. If I
I pay. No. It is free.
But it's like GPT.
Yeah, it's for you. No, it's free, but I pay for personal projects. Yeah, you can
Sounds yeah.
the cloud.
It's very long, but you can.
Features. You Also,
Now, review the lyrics. All of the lyrics.
well, as a tool.
So yeah, you can have the response correct. So you can put in whatever you want, even if you make a mistake. Well, you can say, please correct me as I go along. But it's going to correct
Yeah,
me.
this analysis, the consequence and the result. Yeah, so whatever you
Okay, so do you like this conversation? No, change the conversation. What kind of conversation would you like to have? Especially for you. Okay, yeah, no, not much.
Maybe there are those as in travel the time and change all the history.
If you have necessary, we can choose two superpowers.
Now I would say we were better before. So now I would say get lots and lots of examples. And if you want, get lots and lots of examples. Get the translation in Portuguese and Italian. Okay? No black. Still on the songs?
You can't just
Create a song. Create a song where you are the characters. Yes, yes. Create the sounds where you're the characters and include mixed conditions. Maybe other people will what is the exactly. Include him. Include him in the song. Okay? Easy peasy.
it's strong. I'm trying to remember
Traveling in time and being was really cool. Concentration and traveling in time to know about the book history. So through the tell? No. Book history? History books.
Conditioning.
Yeah.
We're trying to apply this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, if you have this problem, how can you destroy the word if you say the truth? For example, if you say the truth about the religion, about Jesus Christ or something like that, you can destroy the word as people don't know.
No,
So without, yeah.
Okay, stop. Okay, now, okay. Hopefully, now don't delete anything you put into ChatGPT. Keep those pages up. ChatGPT will have a memory of the things that you produced. And it will remember which things you say. If you say, this is more effective, keep doing this, it will remember that. So how many of you think that the exercises that you produced now or very recently are better than the ones that you did at the start? And if you didn't create better activities in the last few minutes, then you've done something wrong again and you need to amend your suggestions. So this group here, what did you do first? In just the last few minutes, what did you do first?
For the first, we asked to ChatGPT a story.
Okay, so give a story. So you have what? You have context. Then after that?
And then we asked to explain better the mixed conditional
Yep.
that the story that is in the story, and so ChatGPT explained to us.
Okay, so stop 1 sec. Okay, so the first thing, you have it in context. Okay, so the meaning is more important than the form. So you're learning it in the places where you should hear the form. Okay, not just in a made-up situation. Another thing you could ask is, do mixed conditionals typically happen in stories?
No.
You don't know, you could ask it. Okay, you could ask, where do you usually have mixed conditional? Do you usually have it in spoken English? Is it usually in conversations or in stories or whatever? You could ask that first. I would ask that first if I were you. Then after that, so you have it in context, you can ask for an explanation. And you can ask for an explanation in your languages as well as in English. I do not care. It's not super important in my mind that you learn the grammar with explanations in English. Now, I can't explain everything in your languages, so obviously ChatGPT is going to be better than me in that regard. And then after that, I asked you to do what? Generate what?
Generate
More examples. And if you look in the documents that I create every day, you will find examples for every single word and every single grammatical structure that I produce for you. You will see a sentence. In fact, almost always I will produce 3 sentences minimum for you. Okay? This group, what did you do?
We asked ChatGPT to explain the grammar of mixed condition, but using some examples in the songs.
Yeah. Okay, so using the songs, and then maybe ask ChatGPT, please explain what that means, etc. So the meaning again is more important than the form. Of course, you need to learn the form, but I really want you to get focused on the meaning. Anything else?
And then you ask them to ask the ChatGPT to create a funny song.
I didn't say a funny song. It could have been a romantic song. It could have been a romantic song.
Between
Yeah.
Manuel, Dr. Fernanda.
Yes, Manuel and Dr. Fernanda. Yes. Now stop. 1 second. If you look back at the video, you were sitting over there like that. And then Alice said, oh, and then I created the song about Manuel and Dr. Fernanda. And then you started laughing. You interacted better with that. That might work for you. Maybe the others wouldn't, but maybe that one would work for you. So the one that you're more emotionally invested in, maybe choose that one. Okay, what else? What was the song? Did it say any beautiful lines?
Fernanda, and I also put the names, my name, Carlotta, and Charles. Like
Oh my goodness, yes, exactly. I don't even want to listen to the pornography in that song. Okay?
Manuel,
They-
want to flirt with
Yes,
the
yes,
girl.
the usual rubbish, the usual rubbish. Okay, this group, what did you do? Basically, what did you do?
Well, we have chosen 3 methods of.
Yes. Okay, none of you did this, I think, but the two boys, they said these are the 3 methods or methodologies that we want to use as you, that the methodologies we want you as the teacher to use. And then they were also going through what were you doing after that then?
Conversation.
Yeah. Okay, they were having a conversation and learning the grammar through the conversation. Now, they still need to fix a few things with the conversation, but it's a perfectly good, acceptable way of learning a language. And to be honest, that's typically what I will do. Okay, I'll show you one last thing in a minute. And in this group, what did you do? Yes.
Create a game with using the mixed conditionals.
What was the game, by the way?
Is time traveler's troubles.
Okay, time traveler's troubles. So this is typically why you would use a mixed conditional. Something in the past has a result now. Maybe if you change something.
Materialist scenario cards, consequence cards, and fixed cards.
Exactly. Okay, so it'll give you cards. This thing happened in the past. This thing will happen now, etc. Maybe you can play with the cards, etc. Maybe this is something you're more interested in doing. Okay. Now, one last thing. I'll look here for a second. Okay. Going back to Swedish, I asked, I would like to have a chat with you in Swedish. I do not speak Swedish. Okay? Can everyone remember how you pronounce that?
Hi.
Hej, jag heter ChatGPT. Vad heter du? You can answer, jag heter ditt namn. What do you think that means?
Your name?
Yeah, ditt namn. I'm not really sure the pronunciation, but ditt namn. So I'll say, jag heter... Trevligt att träffas, Andrew. Var kommer du ifrån? Where are you from? Du kan svara, jag kommer från. Now, what's this mean? Because it doesn't tell you, but I'm pretty sure I know what that means. You can say. You notice can looks very similar to or sounds very similar to can in English. So maybe I know something, maybe by just accident I seem to know some. So I'd say, jag kommer oops, sorry, from Ireland. Now I'm going to put in Ireland because I'm going to guess Ireland is Ireland and not Ireland. It's an educated guess. Yes, I was correct. Okay, now I was correct about this, but I don't have the symbol on my keyboard for this symbol. Okay, and now you could say Vargor do. Now, even if you didn't know that, okay, maybe you could guess a few. So, how would you pronounce that? Again, how would you? Yeah, bor I, and then maybe you say whichever country you say. So like, bor I. Now I'm going to put in Ireland, okay? Because to be honest, that sounds weird to me. Okay? Jag bor I Ireland. Maybe, I don't know, maybe in Swedish it allows this, where you have I combinations. Maybe it will say, oh well, if you've got the vowel sound here, maybe there should be something here to make it easier to pronounce. I don't know. No, it's perfect. Okay? So no problems. Read that for me.
Perfect grammatic.
So what's grammar in Swedish? Grammatic. What's this? Any ideas? Okay, well, look at this. Vad komma från och bo I, blah blah blah. Vill du säga vilken stad du bor I också? Now, I'm guessing what's that mean again? What's that mean? Again, say this. Say this. Say. Does anyone know what this word means? Have you heard that word before? Saga? A long story of heroic achievement, especially medieval prose narrative in Old Norse or Old Icelandic. Okay. Oh, it doesn't actually mean what I thought it meant. It means saw. So it's talking about things that I were seen, etc. But I don't care. I now have something where I can connect the Swedish word to something in English. Sagas are big long stories. Well, you say the story to some extent, so I can use that. And I will remember it from that. And you can keep going through that. How many of you could learn a language doing that? How many of you could learn a language doing that? So the people who chose the communicative approach, that's what the communicative approach is. You communicate, and if I want, I can say, oh, please explain the grammar here in this point, if I want. And eventually I will get to the point where I'll say, please explain the grammar, but I'll give the instruction in Swedish. And you'll become pretty fluent, possibly with writing, etc., and reading, doing this. But you can all use ChatGPT now with the audio. Okay? Why you don't like this?
No,
why not?
I prefer to socialize with a person, not with a machine. So I am so curious for no.
Oh, this is the best I can do for you without a teacher.
Yeah, I know.
You are socializing with people who are not teachers, who are not language experts. Of course, it would be perfect if you could speak to a language teacher, but you can't. You have to pay money for that. This is free. Okay? And one other thing. I heard Daphne yesterday say, I overheard her say she's shy. Okay? You said you're shy. And Carlotta said she was shy in the past as well. And I know nobody believes it, but I am very shy. I don't want to speak to someone. If I'm learning a language like Swedish, I do not want to speak to a Swedish person. I'm terrified of it. This allows shy people to skip that step. You can avoid it. How many of you get nervous on the phone especially when you were starting first, you probably were very nervous on the phone if you spoke to an English native speaker. Well, here you can practice. Okay, so I'm trying to give you techniques that you can do on your own. Now experiment with it. Don't just stop and say, okay, now Andrew said have a conversation and that's the way to do it. No, maybe you want to do more songs, maybe you want to play more games, etc. Experiment, but do not just do the thing that you did at the start. Here's the grammar explanation, here's the exercise. It usually will not work for you. You'll not may be able to do the exercise and then forget. Okay, I want you to experiment with this. And I want you to think about what methods you could use to teach languages. Okay, not just, oh, here's the instruction and then do an exercise. Okay, there are many more techniques that you can use. All right, anyway, that's the end of today. Have a nice day, etc. Ciao, ciao.